For those who care to follow political tensions in Zimbabwe, especially when it comes to issues of succession, you will notice that in Zimbabwe, under the leadership of ZANU-PF, a leader of ZANU-PF, or who eventually becomes a leader of the government, is not elected. In fact, what happens, the military always intervenes, especially when it comes to succession, because ZANU-PF has no democratic succession plan, and also even in government they don't allow other opposition political parties to succeed them. So a retired general has actually predicted that the military may intervene very soon in the way it was done during the Mkakao declaration, as well as also during the Operation Restore Legacy in November 2017. That saw Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa becoming the president and Robert Gabriel Mugabe being ousted. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hlonipani Global News. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So according to retired Lieutenant General Winston Sikauke Mapranga, he has posted the following. It's very short and precise. He says historical patterns show that the military may soon play a significant role in resolving the ongoing chaos within ZANU-PF. The Mkakao Declaration of 1975 and the Operation Restore Legacy in November 2017 are clear examples of how the military has influenced political outcomes in Zimbabwe, especially during times of internal conflict. Although Mnangagwa has publicly stated that he plans to step down in 2028, there is growing doubt about his commitment to the promise. His desperate loyalists are pushing for the 84-year-old to extend his rule until 2030, ignoring the constitutional limits set in place. So that is the retired General Lieutenant Sikauke Mapranga. Why is he? In fact, you should understand that this is not Hloniphani Ncube predicting. This is a retired Lieutenant General of the Army, someone with the experience within the military, and most probably someone with the know-how about what is going on within the military. Although, the faction of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa says there is no way military intervention would be tolerated within the SADC region. That is why we saw Mnangagwa trying to spin the visit of the South African president, Cyril Ramaphosa. I think that visit on its own angered the Zimbabwe Defense Forces commanders, and that visit on its own also angered retired General Chiwenga, who is the preferred successor of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, and it is interpreted as a broken promise by Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. That is why the retired General Winston Sikauke Mapranga keep on referring to the issues of promise. Keep on, even retired General Chiwenga, in his last statement at a funeral that was in Mutare, he spoke of a covenant. We've heard this word over and over being spoken on military circles, that Mnangagwa has broken the covenant. It appears there is a covenant that Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa might have entered into with the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, which he has broken so brazen. That is why you hear such statements that the high possibility, more than ever, that the military will intervene. Now, how will it happen? Someone may say, but Mnangagwa seems to have captured the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. I also understand that as much as that may have been the order of the day, but he cannot buy all the military personnel with money. As it is equally true that some have been paid handsomely to support the current status quo. But how much do they have to buy all the command structures? And most of, especially the top brass, who sat with Mnangagwa, who most probably made a covenant with Emmerson Mnangagwa, there is absolutely no way they will subject themselves to being bribed by Emmerson Mnangagwa. Maybe the new crop that is trying to put within the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. But remember also, if you listened carefully to Blessed Geza, he acknowledged that individuals within the Zimbabwe Defense Forces have been bribed, but also said, thank God, because we've got the progressive force within the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. So there is a progressive force. That is why you see even Mnangagwa is treading carefully when it comes to issues of succession. Himself, he has not, confessed that he is going to remain in office up to 20th. In fact, he's using other people, the likes of Ziambi, the likes of Zwikanandas to push the agenda. But himself, he has not come out openly. Of course, he used the court, Vision 2030, that will continue with Vision 2030. But when it comes to when exactly he will vacate the political office, he has not been clear. He has not actually pronounced that. That on its own tells you that he understands what is at stake, especially when he does so carelessly. But indications have shown beyond reasonable doubt, and his latest actions inviting the President of the Republic of South Africa to his farm. Of course, the President of the Republic of South Africa might have smelt, or he has the intelligence. The intelligence might have briefed him that there is high probability this is what is on the horizon politically in Zimbabwe, and he was trying to step in to actually be a solution. But as usual, Emmerson Mnangagwa is always manipulative, not him alone. ZANU-PF, especially leaders who test power in ZANU-PF, most of them, when they test power, they don't want to let go of power. That is why the general is saying there is absolutely a high probability. It's pointing in that direction. I have seen a lot of actually members of the retired General Chiwenga faction saying the situation, the political situation as it stands at the moment in Zimbabwe is pointing them towards the direction of what transpired in 2017 when Operation Restore Legacy was implemented, and also in 1970s when Mugagao Declaration was actually implemented, bringing in Robert Gabriel Mugabe, and also Operation Restore Legacy, bringing in Emmerson Mnangagwa. It appears that is how leaders of ZANU-PF actually inherit power, whether one likes it or not. It appears that's the template that is being used because of the leaders that would have been appointed or that would have been tested power, who don't want to let it go, in fact, who amass wealth for themselves. Now the question is, should this always be the trend, whereby a leader has to be removed in such a way? For example, in the case of Zimbabwe, it's whether Zimbabwe breaks or Emmerson Mnangagwa is removed, and which institution has the capacity to do so, to get rid of the man. It is nothing less than the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. And at the moment, there is no way Mnangagwa will use force to actually try to stay in power. So you need actually an institution that has the same capacity and the same capability to try to meet Emmerson Mnangagwa at his own game. That's how you can defeat the man. Otherwise, if nothing of that sort is done within the next year or so, we will be having a Mnangagwa dynasty fully fledged, Mnangagwa dynasty, typically like what is happening in Swaziland. That is what Mnangagwa envisages, or in UAE, that is what Mnangagwa actually likes. He wants, or actually demagogues like Putin. He is exactly that. He doesn't see himself just moving from, letting go of power just like that. So such measures will have to take place, according to retired Lieutenant General Winston Mapranga, that the situation calls for nothing less than now removal of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. If you hear such declarations being made, understand that change is on the horizon. Very soon, I think we are entering into, in fact, we have already entered, but it hasn't shown the signs of being difficult. It's like at the moment, Zimbabwe is, those people, preparations are being made and being implemented. You will see when implementation begins to start. That's where a lot of people say, oh, this is happening. But from the look of things, it appears the military would not have any other option, especially the progressive forces, than to act. Otherwise, their power would be taken away. Not only their power, also the power of the people of Zimbabwe. And for that to be changed, it may take a length of time. Just imagine an 84 years old. What else can he do for young people what 25 up to maybe 35? What can this person do? What can he do for the elders who are above 35 years old, who are still dreaming to also see a better Zimbabwe? There is absolutely nothing. If he has failed within the past 84 years, what can he do now within the less than maybe 10 or so years? In fact, maybe that may be too much also left for him. In fact, under normal circumstances, his age mates should be at that age taking retirement. They wouldn't be doing any difficult job. The man cannot even open the packet of biscuits. I saw him struggling at the Prikepo farm just to open the packets of biscuits. He picked it and he had to give to the security aid to open the food in order for them to take the biscuits and eat. And there were hygiene. They didn't even wash their hands. I saw also Ramaphosa going in, picking a biscuits, helping himself and all the officials around. So from the look of things, I think the direction is pointing towards another operation to remove Mnangagwa this time around to be implemented. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the subscribe button. You can financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Oganqube Mhlabane is signing out. Let me love and live.